Hello and welcome to the FSF PopCast Live Edition. Hello, kids and cadets. Welcome to the FSF PopCast. This is our live show, and this is kind of a new thing we're trying tonight. We're calling this Tea Time, and we'll explain what that all means. But we just want to remind you that this is the show that came up with a joke about tea called Tisane in the Membrane. It's okay. We all know it's not funny. We're okay with it. Well, Ben isn't, neither is Kathleen, but I am, and that's really all I cared about when I wrote it. So, phooey on the rest of you.
Goodness. Anyway, before we get into tonight's show, we need to say our thanks to our show partner, Level Up Sabers.
So let's roll that beautiful nerd footage before Tim cuts me off.
If you noticed, I waited purposely for you to finish talking so that you would not feel that I was just randomly cutting you off for no apparent reason whatsoever.
Well, now we're taking too long, so we roll the footage. Let's go.
You boss me around.
I'm in control now. My show.
Alrighty, and you guys see those beautiful links. Click the link, do the things. Lightsabers. There we go. That's my short sales pitch. Lightsabers. And chaos. But.
And chaos.
And chaos. And yes, I heard that as well. I'm not sure why Ben's microphone didn't mute when we went into video, but I had to mute it for him because he's like, I'm in control now. It's my show.
I was in control.
Apparently. So, hey,
check.
So yeah, guys, go check out that link there. That's the link for Level Up Sabers. That, of course, is down in the show notes down below. Every time you guys purchase a saber from Level Up Sabers, you not only do that to get something fun for it, but you also support our show in the process. So please go buy a saber, or if you really want to, you might see this thing scrolling along the bottom, encouraging you to find some great bonus content down at Patreon. And that, of course, is patreon.com/FSF PopCast. And when you get there, there's all kinds of cool stuff there, ranging from $1 to $40. And there's behind the scenes content. There's a whole bunch of bonus content. There's bloopers. I am the primary blooper maker. You're welcome. You may have already seen a little bit of that yet tonight. And I am the blooper. Not great. Now all I can think of is, look, it's the Brute Squad. I am the Brute Squad. Anyway. And John is right. They are really awesome sabers. They are even better than a stick, and we all love ours. So, there's many unfortunately, I have itchy ears as of late, and he got me there was one on video, and I don't know why he couldn't take it out. I think he took it out of the main video. I hope so. I don't recall it. But there's one of me just going to town because my ear itched so freaking bad. And he's like, yeah, way to clean out your ears on the show there. I'm like, jerk. So anyway, there's that. Me and my blasted itchy ears with allergies. I can't help it. It is what it is. So anyway, there's that. And now congratulations, everyone who is watching, for knowing far too much about me. So, go check us out on Patreon. There's lots of cool stuff there. And there's way better videos than just me itching my finger and looking like a twerp when doing it. So
sometimes he's also picking his nose.
I never pick my nose on camera. I shut off the camera, then I go to town. Big difference.
Just digging for gold, just the entire length of your finger.
I eat it on camera. That's entirely dumb. Kidding. Oh, and look, we lost all our subscribers with one statement.
FSF PopCast, where we overshare because we care.
Exactly.
Can we get that on a t-shirt?
I know a guy who can help us out. Yeah, exactly. I know a guy who can help us out with that. So
I'm pretty sure that merch will sell like crazy.
We overshare because we care. We're gonna get at least 3 sales out of it. I'm pretty sure.
It needs to be right up there with the thanks or the I like your personality. Thanks, it's the trauma.
Exactly. It's unresolved trauma in my life. Thanks for noticing. Speaking of new things in our lives, you guys may have noticed we have a new live show banner. So we put this all together because we have this fun little Funko thing that we did to celebrate Ben Jammin joining us. And so we're really happy about this. And so we just put this together. And as a reminder tonight, not only are we going to try something new here in just a moment with our show, like actually being together in an actual conversation, but we also have this that's brand new in our lives. We have a brand new Instagram page. It was coming. It was right there. We have a brand new Instagram page, which is dedicated solely to our monthly RPG, our Star Wars RPG. And I think it's at FSF PopCast _RPG is the name of the show, of the page channel rather. But I'll make sure and put that down in the show notes down below. And yes, we just want Dave Filoni to notice us. And if we can manage that to happen, then things are going to be A-okay with everything and everyone. And so here's a sample of one of the pictures that's out on the page. It's a little less distorted on there. I may have stretched it a little too much. I tried putting it back to normal and it didn't quite work. So anyway, and then, yeah, but that's that.
About your nostrils.
Exactly.
I stretched it. I tried to put it back to normal and it didn't quite work.
It's so great because you get to see some of the torment that our game master puts us through.
The same
almost
person
every
whose
session.
name is on the screen. Yes, torturing us.
The wonderful John Wass, who will, at one point, will kill us all.
He's trying really hard. I will give him A for effort.
Fail.
He has tried very hard to get a TPK. He's come close. Danger close.
Okay, so last session though was hilarious because
we
that
killed
was
his plans right quick.
Yeah, that fight, like he thought that fight was gonna be like an hour, and it was 20 minutes.
That it definitely helped that like 3 of us got crits in a row. Like, I think it was me, then it was Sam, then it was
Edna.
Kathleen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Kathleen as well.
And she was raging at the same time, so she got the Wookiee rage bonus and she got a crit and
this and that this and that.
Yeah, his big bad was in a puddle and over there, and with a pair of boots over there. So
just a smear across the wall within 2 turns.
Yeah. When the Wookiee does 42 points of damage and knocks the person to negative 35 hit points,
it's all over. But the GM's crying. So, speaking of fun things, though, let's we got to just real quick. If we move on. So here's tonight. We're talking about, this is Tea Time with the FSF PopCast. And we're really excited to bring this on because, and Ben can help us fill out this information a little more. But because this is Ben's idea, I'll give credit where credit is due. It's an opportunity for us to sit down and talk about some of the deeper things of sci-fi and pop culture. Not just that, oh, hey, golly, did you see the new version of Ahsoka, the new episode of Ahsoka, and wasn't that cool? And look at the, how they look at what they did with Thrawn. And it's going to be more than that. It's going to be, there will be discussions about pop culture and mental health. There will be discussions about how pop culture has influenced so many things, not just us, but you. And we want you guys to be part of this conversation as well. So as we're talking about the things in pop culture and sci-fi that have affected our lives and whatever the topic is for that night, please feel free to jump in the comments. And, we'd love to add your comments into the conversation. If you have questions for any one of us along the time, the time of the conversation, please put them in the comments and we'll get them on the screen and we will try to get those things answered. But before we jump into anything that is tea time related, we have something TMNT time related. See what I did there? See what I did? Anyway,
you tried.
All right,
you tried.
I tried. It was a stumble and a fall. It wasn't any better than Tissane and the membrane. But yeah, I'm gonna keep running on that one though. I think there's something there. We just got to, scratch it long enough.
No,
yes, there
not.
is. All right, so you may notice the picture there. We are giving away some codes for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, the new animated movie that is out now. Mutant Mayhem is available on digital today. Now, the notes are, after years of hiding, the Turtle Brothers set out to gain acceptance as normal teenagers and take on an army of mutants in this hilarious, action-packed adventure. Buy or rent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem on digital today and get over 40 minutes of bonus content when you buy on digital. Available at all participating retailers, rated PG. Now, the great thing about this is not only is the movie funny, because it's also available on Paramount Plus right now. But it has a fantastic, and I do mean fantastic, soundtrack. Like, if you were a fan of 90s R&B, hip hop, all that kind of stuff, late 90s, early 2000s, it's fantastic. It's really placed, the music's placed in the right era for when, the Turtles would have or could have been, should have been coming out in the with 87 and all that kind of stuff. And so as a non-spoiler, one of my absolute favorite things about this, somebody goes flying through a car window, and inside the car, you're hearing the Ninja Rap by Vanilla Ice. It's like just chef's kiss for a throwback to the live-action Ninja Turtles 2. So, yeah. Go, Ninja, go, Ninja, go. Go, Ninja, go, Ninja, go. So.
I'm very excited to see it. I still have not seen it. And by the time I was able to, it was already gone. And I'm like, no.
So the thing that was the most difficult for me, and I'll just put this out there, thing that was the most difficult for me about this was that it's got a kind of I call it an unfinished art style.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of hazy around the outside, but right in the center where the things are happening, it's very finished and kind of it only takes a couple seconds to get used to that. But once you kind of get past that, going, oh, well, this is kind of a weird art style. What's going on there? I thought it was just for the introduction. It's for the whole thing. But yeah, it's very good. And I strongly recommend this movie. So let's ask a trivia question and let's give away a code. So first person to answer this question gets the code. We'll get it to you after the show. Okay. So the question is, what villain was introduced in season 1, episode 2 of TMNT of 1987 and would be a villain for the next 8 seasons? So what villain was introduced in season 1, episode 2 of TMNT in 1987 and would be there for the next 8 seasons?
Can I answer and get the code?
No.
Okay.
Negatory, my good man.
I mean, the answer's right there. I could just...
Well, I know that you know. And is it a better soundtrack than Across the Spider-Verse? They're very strong in each in their own ways. Better, I don't know that I can say that it's better. So, how's that for an answer? For a non-answer.
While we're waiting for one of our wonderful viewers to answer the question, the reason Mutant Mayhem looks that way is because of Spider-Verse.
Right.
So,
is this trivia question related to a recently released interview? It might possibly, sort of, kind of, might, could be. Anyway, so if you've listened to that episode, you know exactly who the villainous party is. Anyway, all right, we'll come back to that. We'll ask it again in a minute here. See if we can get anybody else to answer it. All right, so tonight during our tea time episode, we are all enjoying. I'll put that picture right back up on the screen because this is officially now tea time with the FSF PopCast. We are all enjoying some tea from the fine folks over at Jesse's Tea House. So we each have 3 different flavors. Right now, I'm pretty sure I am going to horribly mispronounce this, but it's called the Longjin, I believe. Longjin green tea. So that's what that looks like. And this is from Jesse's Tea House again. Now, they're not sponsoring the show, but if they would like to be a sponsor of the show, we are certainly open for discussion. And I'm going to assume that says Jesse's Tea House over there. I have no idea.
Yes, it does. I have the Muganshan. I'm also probably horribly mispronouncing it. I really like this tea. It is honestly my favorite green tea. Incredibly smooth, just kind of like... It's almost like a peachy, kind of like light taste to it throughout the whole thing, and it's so good. So
I have
that's
the
what I'm
same one
doing.
as Ben.
There you go.
Okay, you also have the Mogan-shan?
Yes.
Yeah. And we are all sipping out of our wonderful little kitty cat tea mugs. We're all very happy about it.
Yeah. And yes, as I have changed my little headline, now that my tea is actually tea, it smells like canned spinach.
Ben
How
slowly
At least
dying.
it doesn't smell like hamster food anymore.
All right, so I'm gonna leave the trivia question up on the screen while we talk, so that way if somebody wants to answer that and win a code for the TMNT Mutant Mayhem, we will certainly make sure that you have one. And so,
I should also apparently close my window. Stupid neighbors and their stupid children.
All right.
I think
wait for-
Kathleen's doing the tea wrong. She might be.
Probably.
All right, so guys, our topic for tonight is what does
My what?
science fiction and pop culture mean to you? So, like I said, we're all drinking out of our teacups that Ben was so nice to send to us.
Yes.
I'm gonna put the lid back on it so you can see what it looks like. Because it's a little tea cat.
We had already talked about our tea cats while you were typing.
Yes, I know. I know. But
It's
still.
also, if you look at it this way, it's got a little belly button. That little thing on the front, that's a belly button. And if you tip it over, there's a little paw print on the bottom. And I find that so cute.
Yeah, I saw the toe beans on the bottom. I can't really tip it over because, tea.
And no, Kathleen was struggling with the fact that she could hear her neighbors' children. And they were
you know what?
being obnoxious.
So you want to know what I just noticed?
What?
Okay, so I thought that was like a belly button or the tail. I thought that was the tail, but I just realized that the tail is the handle. So I am a very observant person, and this is going swimmingly, I might add. Shut up, Ben.
All right. But
All
this
right,
is actually a very high quality tea, loose leaf tea and everything. It's very nice. No tea bags here. No tea bags here.
Not true. I got one right here.
Put it away.
I thought about just getting the string out of a tea bag and putting it on the outside of my cup just to mess with you tonight. I'll save that for next month.
Fighting words. We do not accept hot leaf juice here. We only have tea. But anyway. So yeah.
All right. So yeah, let's talk about what science fiction and pop culture means to us. So yeah, that's the overall arching question. Now, there's a couple other sub questions we need to answer below that kind of help us get to the point of our topic, help us get to the, kind of round the horn on this. So, but I'm going to answer that first one overall. What does science fiction pop culture mean to you? Sorry, Ale. No, the villain is not Shredder. So, unfortunately, no, that is not it. And Kathleen is doing the tea thing very wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So, so what does pop culture mean to me? Pop culture is part of every aspect of our life. That was one of the reasons why when we started this show, it was kind of important to me. And that's when Kathleen and I were doing Pop Culture Addicts. Why we did that show is because pop culture it's part of everything wrapped around our life. Everything that we do, everything that we touch, everything that we see, somehow, some way is influenced by pop culture. And so to me, pop culture, it's a critical part of who and what we are and what we do and why we do it.
Oh yeah, very, very similar. It's also, pop culture is so unbelievably important in a way that a lot of people don't understand. Like, when you think pop culture and sci-fi and stuff like that, there are very key images that pop into your head, but those are also affected by more pop culture and sci-fi of the time. Like, when you look at Darth Vader, the most powerful villain you can possibly, imagine straight off the top of your head, Darth Vader was inspired by Doctor Doom of the Fantastic Four.
Right.
So you have another thing that was already there that inspired another thing and just, turtles
Doom
all the way down.
Samurais and Kiro, I can't remember his name.
Kurosawa.
Thank you. Yeah, Kurosawa. Yeah, my brain just went completely dead.
Kurosawa
But
films, which also
yeah.
inspired Western films.
Mhm.
So all those cowboy movies with John Wayne, you can thank samurais for that.
Exactly.
Again,
Which you just
stacks
broke a
on
whole
stacks
lot
on
of
stacks on
redneck brains.
stacks.
What do you mean my movies is Asian related? So
Mhm.
anyway, we got that going for us. There's
Ah.
your bad impression for the night.
But these kinds of things are just they make personalities. Like I always say that I'm like 5 topics just smashed into a human suit. That's kind of it.
Yeah. John says the Magnificent Seven is a Western port of Seven Samurai.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
Like almost to the T. To the T.
Oh.
See, I can make a funny T joke.
Yours was better than Tim's.
All right, Ben's stealing my shine. He is done for the night. No, I'm just kidding.
Kathleen's insulting him. I'm surprised she's not gone yet, too.
Hi, Ben.
How dare you?
I am in control. This is my anyway.
I'm gonna hack
I
your
heard
computer.
earlier. I'm pretty sure somebody did earlier. It was acting like it was. Holy crow!
Oh yeah, but I forgot to mention that pop culture and sci-fi are not just thing that like stacks on top of each other. It affects everyone's life too. I mean, like these wonderful little touchscreen phones. These exist because Star Trek.
Yeah,
Touchscreens and stuff like that started in Star Trek. I mean, I can't remember the exact name of the person, but the guy who invented the BlackBerry was trying to make the tricorder from Star Trek.
I believe that.
And then that started the wave of smartphones and things like that. And it's just, it affects every aspect of our lives. So it's great. What about you, Kathleen?
What about Kathleen? It's hard because it is, like you said, it is every aspect of our life. And like, I think specifically with me, like growing up in a nerd house, growing up with nerd parents, so many people have that moment of remembering the first time they watched Star Wars. I don't, because I was too little to remember watching it for the first time. Like, it's literally part of me. I don't remember like the big Vader reveal because it was just it was something we watched, and it is so much of every day. And then realizing, like you said, with smartphones and we are constantly living in the future that we've watched and dreamed of in our shows is pretty cool. Like, I hope that makes sense.
I'd like to point out though that for as much as we're living in the future that we watched and dreamed about,
where are our hoverboards?
And more importantly, where's my dang jetpack and flying car? That's what I want to know.
I'd rather have the replicator.
Oh man, I just like, especially if like it could just scan my head and then make me what I'm craving without me having to figure out what it is.
Just figuring out what you want.
Yes.
I want the thing. Make the thing appear.
Because I know that we've all had that moment where we're like, oh man, something sounds really good. What do I want? And you have to like go through
and the urge for food, but you don't know what.
Yes. And it's the like, I know that I want gooey cheesy. Okay, but do I want Italian gooey cheesy or Mexican gooey cheesy? Like, it's complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, I always want gooey cheesy, though. It doesn't matter.
So, yeah, usually when I have those feelings where I'm like, I want something, what do I want? Taco Bell. It's an unreasonably late hour, and Taco Bell's no longer open, and that's what I want. So, yeah. I mean, I could go make Taco Bell-ish items out in the kitchen, but that requires work.
It's not Taco Bell, though.
It's not.
You need that artificial to be proper Taco Bell.
You need the pretend meat, and
if you're not in the bathroom for 45 minutes afterwards, is it really Taco Bell?
Exactly. So
I do have like the Taco Bell brand seasonings for tacos that you can buy at the grocery store. Those are surprisingly good.
Yeah,
they're close. They get you in the ballpark.
They're literally designed chemically to be good.
But I need lower quality beef the next time I do.
You could still taste the cow when you have
Right?
actual
It
beef with
still
it.
tasted like food and not like Taco Bell.
So I think it's easy to say that for each of us, pop culture is important. It's the reason why we do this show. It's the reason why we like to have people on. And each one of our guests every week that we have on, it's not just because they said yes. That's a big plus. We do appreciate them
Mhm.
saying yes and coming on the show. But 9 times out of 10, it's because they've done something in their life that has affected us in some way. Like we were just talking about our guest from this past week. This fella right here, Pat Fraley, voice actor, iconic voice actor. Hint, hint, hint. Um, who, when I was just so excited to hear him do the introduction for the show. I loved doing research about him for the interview because there were so many animated shows rather that he worked on while I was a kid and late
They
early
had
teens, late.
cartoons
Well, they were still etching them out on stone, but yeah,
then? They
and
were still in black and white. Okay, that makes sense.
yeah, and John's not entirely convinced that Taco Bell is actually beef. Nobody really is, to be honest with you,
It's
John.
as beef as the tuna at Subway is tuna.
I mean, they do
Ugh.
say in their ingredients beef product. So take that into consideration.
When your ingredients say beef-ish, yeah, it's a problem.
You're like,
But yeah, so I mean, I was very excited to have Pat Fraley on the show. Very excited to talk with him, and our interviews are always more than just, well, tell me about this episode and what was it like to do this character. I mean, sometimes we ask some of those questions, but I think each of us prides ourselves on not asking the same 4 questions that every other
mhm.
podcast asks, and
Right.
I like knowing what makes people tick. How did you get to become the person you are? And why, and that's why I want to have you on the show, is because I like to know what makes people tick. And so for me, that's a very cool aspect of our show, and that's a very cool aspect of pop culture to me, because so many times I've found that the people that we've interviewed, they're bringing stuff from real life into their characters. Like
Mhm.
Pat
Right.
Fraley tells us a story about how he brought so much from real life into one of his characters,
How
you know
his one character voice is like part Jewish mother.
and it's fantastic. Yeah. And when you hear him explain it and break it all down for you, you go, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh that
Mhm.
Yeah.
makes so much sense now." And I absolutely love that. So yeah,
It
Pat Fraley, hint, hint, hint.
mm. It's also with the inverse in our one of our prior interviews with Jessica Rae, how the fake can influence the real world.
Oh sure,
Jessica
yeah.
Rae with the White Tiger Power Ranger from Wild Force talking about like the Make-A-Wish Foundation and the kids that she
Mhm.
met through that as a Power Ranger, and then meeting them later on in life after they've overcome their sickness, and just the absolute ecstatic feeling of seeing these
Right.
people 10, 15 years later or something like that, and just going, oh, you're still here. This
Mm-hmm.
is
Right.
great. No, camera, please.
Yeah,
One.
because you can't watch that interview and hear her talk about that and not go, "Oh yeah, pop culture's not important."
Yeah,
Right.
it's
And we've had a couple of others who've talked about um, being at cons and having people tell them that their performance in whatever and their character saved their life. It came at a time that they needed that they needed that inspiration. They needed that character. And it's so true. It is so true
absolutely.
that we
Mhm.
we find these characters that either have similar situations to ours or whatever that we connect with, we sympathize with, and they can literally save our lives. Like
Yeah.
that's huge.
I
The
to
we had
give a
it.
little. Oh, sorry. Go on.
I was just gonna just quickly kind of double up on her statement. So the interview that and I don't know if this is the one you're thinking about, Kathleen, but I was thinking about our interview with Cal Dodd, who
Mhm.
played Wolverine in X-Men. He
Mm.
told a story about how a man came to the Comic Con that he was at, and um, him and his daughter were both highly autistic and had problems with physical touch with people they didn't know. And he walked up. He actually took off his gloves, went to go shake Cal Dodd's hand, and I believe he even gave him a hug. even gave Cal a hug, and like immediately had to like walk away, and the guy's wife walked up and like with tears in her eyes trying to explain to Cal just how momentous that really was and how much that really meant, because this guy absolutely freaking loved Wolverines. And when I say he had to take off his gloves, because he had Wolverine claw gloves on, but
right.
But you know,
even in our interview with Cal, talking to him, because Wolverine was my X-Men with the X-Men cartoon, Wolverine was my favorite. Like I told Cal the story about playing X-Men on the playground in elementary school and having my friends be like, oh, well, you should be Storm, or you should be Rogue, or you should be, and I'm like, no, I'm Wolverine. Like, just because I'm a girl,
that again, bub.
Right? I may have pushed one of my friends off of a snow pile. Like, it was no, I'm Wolverine. Deal with it. Like,
but that's another thing I wanted to say is like, that isn't just for the people that play these characters. It's anyone. So I do cosplay as much as I can because I love cosplay. And one of my just absolute core memories of my life is one of the first times I go to New York Comic Con. My little brother, he was 7. His birthday is the first week of October, which is Comic Con in New York. I go out. I had to beg my parents to let me take him, because even as a little kid, he is just as much of a nerd as I am. But we go out, I'm at this booth, I'm looking at some of the stuff, I'm like, all right, I'm going to talk to this man right here and buy something. Don't move. Don't move. And I look up, I buy the thing, I turn back, and my brother's gone. So I immediately panic. I'm running around looking for a 7-year-old in New York Comic Con in the Javits Center with thousands and thousands of other people. And in the distance, I hear a booming voice calling my name. And there is Superman holding my brother all the way up in the air, just booming my name over the crowd. I'm just like, oh my God. And I run up. I go to my brother. I'm like, what happened? What happened? He's like, I got lost. I'm like, why didn't you go to security? Why didn't you go to the police or anything? And he goes, but I know Superman.
Okay, that's hard to argue with, though.
This guy could have just been like, pass him off to the cops, pass him off to security, I don't care, not my problem. But he saw this little kid who walked up to him and went, I can't find my brother, and went, this looks like a job for Superman. And then did it. That's what I love about the pop culture aspect, is that it influences people for the better. It's so great.
The guy cosplaying as Darth Vader at Monroe that kept following me around and just heavy breathing behind me to scare me.
Yeah, that.
Oh, it was so funny. It just happened once, and then he realized it was funny, so then he sought me out and did it a couple other times. And I'm like, dude, that is not fair. I know that Vader's not real, but that's still really scary to hear behind you.
Just the...
Yes!
In the distance, like...
waiting in line for, like, corn dogs.
Rogue One hallway scene flashbacks.
You know, and as much as I love cosplay, one of the things I love most about, because I don't cosplay, but I mean, mainly because I just haven't found the right chubby dude to cosplay other than Chris Farley.
You don't need to. You could be whatever the heck
I know.
you want.
I can be. I know. Trust me. I have thought about doing dad bod Thor, but it's more likely that I'm going to be chubby Han Solo. So, but one of the things I do love about people who go out and cosplay is that they are so proud of their cosplay, and to be able to sit down when and so we were just at Monroe Pop Fest, and people walking through and just say, "Hey, tell me about your cosplay." That's all you have to say, and you have started a conversation with your new best friend, and I had so much fun just finding out about people's cosplay and watching. Not funny, John. Not funny at all, but okay, a little funny. So
I was thinking too.
Oh, that's so.
That's totally
dirty.
Peter Griffin.
That's dirty.
Anyway, so but yeah,
no, asking a question to a cosplayer asking like hey, tell me about your cosplay. Not even specifics. You just say, tell me about it.
Yeah.
You have at least 4 hours of them just being like, hey.
Especially if it's like, I found, especially if it's not a character that I recognize, that I'm like,
exactly.
hey. So I don't know this character. Is this somebody you've created? Is this somebody that I just don't know about yet?
Right.
I'm like,
So I
people who cosplay as their D&D characters.
Oh yeah, I love
which
those.
I think is really cool because it's something that's so special and important to them because it's their mind, their creation, and they're inserting themselves into pop culture, and I think that's fantastic.
It's almost better when you do know the niche character they're playing, like they're dressed up as, and you're just like, you, and they're like, just instant, just light up.
I got
that happened this
last year. I'll look it up while you talk.
Okay, so that happened this past last weekend at Monroe Fest. So there was a guy that walked out and sorry Jay, not Baxter Stockman. But this guy walked out and now I know exactly this much about Warhammer 40K. Okay. I know nothing about it, never done anything with it. But this guy walked out and I was told he was in a techno union priest outfit or something like that he made from scratch. He built it himself. Yeah, he won first place, by the way. So, but yeah. And hi homies, great fit with Ben, now to replace Tim and a perfect show. Well, I've been told worse.
Tim, I don't know if you can pull up the picture that I sent to our chat.
Hold on 1 second, and I will.
Yeah, give a minute.
But Kathleen's similar to what you're gonna say. Seeing people that were in the first campaign, cosplaying as that before it got like huge.
Oh yeah.
I was out there. I'm just like, I know you, and they're like, I have so many pictures from Comic-Con with every single character that I could find. I'm just like, yes, I got the whole group. It was so great. Oh. I have a little tiny puppy dog next to me snoring, and it's so adorable.
I love it.
But I just, sorry, you were gonna say things.
But like you said, when you know that niche character, when you know the character, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's XYZ character. And the look of excitement they get when they're like, oh, because then you instantly bond over that over the, hey, you like the same show that I do. And that's huge.
Right.
It's also that is
a really big, that is a really big deal. I mean, if you can have that connection, if you can have that understanding of who and what somebody is, absolutely. Unfortunately, that didn't happen with me with the Warhammer guy, but it was still a really, really very cool thing.
But I think that's something that we lose as adults is we don't know how to just make friends with people. So yeah, so this is Renfest last year. I saw this lady and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're not the Brave. And she's like, yeah, I am. You know who Not is? I'm like, yeah, I know who Not is. Like, can I get a picture with you? Because that is the coolest cosplay.
I am currently making a Caleb Widowgast cosplay because I need to be my very, very depressed arsonist wizard.
Oh my gosh, I know. So Tim, yes.
And yes, John, you did miss it.
This is a Critical Role character, Tim, so...
Okay.
But it was I saw the mask on her waistband, and I'm like, wait a second. Oh, yes. Giving the kids the coins to toss at Witcher cosplays is really fun.
I actually did that at one point. They had Yeskier kind of dancing around at one of the conventions I was at with a Geralt, and I pulled out a quarter. I'm just like, boop.
Oh, and
whacked him in the chest, and he looked at it, looked up, picked up the quarter, and pocketed it, and kept going. I'm like, I almost died.
We bought a thing of pirate gold coins on Amazon before we went to Renfest last year, and handed them to my daughter and my nephew. Both had a pocket full of them, so that anytime we saw a Witcher, they could toss the coins to the Witcher. Oh. And then this year, my nephew went as a leprechaun, so he was giving people gold coins because he was a leprechaun.
That's dangerous, though. That's actually a bad omen. You don't want that.
Yeah,
It's the
no,
same
right? It
thing.
was so much fun.
It's the same thing as a no face. Like you
Mhm.
don't want gold from those things.
Nope. Nope, but you don't tell the 9-year-old that. You just let him go around and mess with people.
But when it comes to like a combo of Renfest and cosplayers and stuff, I went to a Renaissance fair as Ezio Auditore from Assassin's Creed.
Mm-hmm.
Actual Renaissance instead of medieval. But I found another assassin, and we went up to the guild booth and both signed up as the Assassins Guild, and we would literally like appear behind people and like just go, because I have a working hidden blade. It's got like a blunted edge to it, so it's not actually going to cut anyone. But I'd literally go up to them, and they would just see a knife just go, shoo! And they're like, "What?" It's like, "You've been killed by the Assassin's Guild."
Nice.
Or I would say something ominous, like someone would put a hit out on like the queen or the king, and me and this guy actually got to the king, accidentally bumped shoulders with him, and just what was the guy's name who put out the hit? I'm just gonna make up a name because I can't remember it, but like I accidentally bumped shoulders and just said like Reginald sends his regards.
I love
And he
it.
felt the poke, and he's like, "What?" I'm like, "You died," and I kept going. I killed the king of the fair and just kept going.
I love that so much.
Last year at the Grand Rapids Comic-Con last November, they had the Bounty Hunters Guild going out and doing bounties on people, and so you could come up and you could like if I wanted if Ben was there dressed up, I could go have him bountied for a certain amount. Like they would send out their people, and it was all for charity, and then they'd take a picture of him and bring him back, and they'd do this picture thing with him. It was really very cool. It was part of the 501st. And they had this whole Mandalorian section of people dressed up like Mandos and with doing all bounty hunter stuff. It was super cool.
I have pictures of John somewhere being held at gunpoint by a bunch of troopers.
I've had that too. Dressed as Obi-Wan Kenobi, I had a whole bunch of like clone troopers. One of them just goes, "Order 66," and turned to me, and I'm like, "Nope."
All right, we're going to ask real quick. I'm going to ask a trivia question to give everybody a chance because nobody's getting the first one. So we'll see if anybody can get trivia question 2, which is who invented the Mousers to go after Splinter and the Turtles? Get it right. It'll be the first person to get this right, and you get a TMNT Mutant Mayhem digital code for a free copy of the digital movie.
Can I answer this one?
No, you cannot.
Oh, okay.
Also, Tim, totally not related to our show tonight, but happy 7th anniversary of being my friend.
It's only 7 years, man. It seems way
Only
longer
7 years,
than that.
but they say that friendships that last 7 years last forever. Aww. How honestly can I say?
No. Yeah, I had a friend that I had for like 15 years that doesn't talk to me anymore.
Well, I mean, there's always the exception.
Congratulations on being the exception to the rule, Ben. Way to go.
I don't have many friends. Yay.
You have us.
You have us. All right, hey,
let's make
talk
it better. That's probably making it worse.
Yes, Jason, this may have been your question, but hey, who knows? So yeah, let's move on to one of the other questions we talked about. We have in here key memories that help shape who you are today. As it comes to pop culture, is definitely Star Wars for me. It has to be because I have such such this want of getting to know more about Star Wars and finding out more about Star Wars. As soon as I saw Return of the Jedi, that made me want to go back and watch the other ones. I remember my dad, every time that he would go, it was kind of his thing back in the day on Friday and payday, he'd stop at the local video store and rent a Laserdisc player, and we'd watch movies on Laserdisc. And
you're dating yourself really.
I know I am, and I'm okay with it. I'm 46. It's going to happen. I'm almost 50. But And I'm going to be a grandpa in March, so I'm just steering into the skid. It is what
I
it is.
still
at
love
this
that you're
point.
going to be a grandpa. Well, this makes my heart happy.
It makes my
Well,
heart
just
happy too. I'm
think.
pretty excited about it. I
In
can't
a
wait
few
to share my nerdiness with my grandson. I can't wait to sit him on my lap and be like, "All right, boy, this is Star Wars, and this is why it's important." Those are the key memories that I'm looking forward to making because those are the key memories that got made for me. I
Mhm.
want to pass those things forward, and I am so blasted excited about that. Whether my kid wants me to do it or not, it's happening. Suck it, Trebek. It's going to happen. So
You do have to be careful when you're turning 50, because an old man in a gray robe might show up and ask you to help a group of short people
Oh,
find
that's
gold in a
true.
mountain. So,
Never say yes to the adventures from the wizards.
no.
You might miss dinner.
you might miss dinner, you might forget your pocket handkerchief, and more importantly, you might accidentally find an heirloom that will destroy the world.
Is that really more
But what
important than
about
missing dinner?
but what about second breakfast? Would I miss that too?
Yes, all of the meals you will unfortunately miss.
Well, then I'm not going. All right, so I just drank the Bilochan.
Are you trying all of them tonight?
Heck yeah, I am. So I just drank
Why?
that one.
These things can be steeped like 10 times each. What do you.
Well, now you tell me that my grass clippings are reusable.
I said that weeks ago!
Did you? Oh, okay.
Yes! This is not a one and done! I've been using the exact same leaves the entire time. And I used them before we actually started the podcast. What do you...
Whoopsies. Hold on, I'm just gonna reach back in there and grab some.
Things.
Okay. All right, second time. Okay, we're just reusing now. Third breakfast, by the way, is Jason's favorite. I agree.
Dishonor
on
on you. Dishonor on your cow. Dishonor on your family.
All right, Ale-san, very good. You have won. It is Baxter Stockman. Baxter made them, and Shredder used them against Splitter and Turtles in mass production. So Baxter made them, and Shredder used them. So here's what I want you to do, Ale. If you would, please send me an email, and I'm going to put it right up here on the screen, right here at info at. That is not the right email address. I may have typed that a little too fast. Info at FSF PopCast.com. Let's try this again. All right, let's try this one. All right. So that is the correct email address. So, Ale, if you will send me an email there, I will send you a digital code of your movie so that you can have that for later and watch it. And thank you for getting the question right there, bud. Hope you enjoy it. Is it Ale or AIE-san? Oh, that's an I. Okay, I thought it
That
was
is
an
an
L.
I. That's why I'm like, why are you calling them ale?
Because I'm looking at it on the smaller screen. I wasn't looking at it in the comment section.
He hasn't gotten his trifles yet.
I'm looking through my bifocal. Shut up. Anyway, that's a thing. It really is a thing. But this guy right here, Ai-san, please send me, and I'm sure I horribly mispronounced that. I am very sorry. But send me an email at info@fsfpopcast.com, and I will make sure to email you your digital copy. And thank you very much. I'm watching Camilla the Chicken lead an ensemble of poultry and performing a cover of Forget You by CeeLo Green. The pop culture mashup is amazing.
Yeah. That sounds
John,
interesting.
I'm gonna need a link.
It's in the Muppets movie.
Yeah, I don't care, but I still need another link of it because I want to watch it now and I don't want to have to go searching for it. I'm lazy, therefore, send me the link. But so yeah, there's that. All right.
Oh boy. Key memories. Back to that.
I will be back. You guys talk about key memories. There's strange sounds. I'll be right
back. Key memories for me is so difficult to point to just one main thing of pop culture because I could talk on end about Star Wars. One of my key memories with Star Wars was going to see Phantom Menace in theaters in '99, and then immediately going to the dog shelter and picking a new dog for my family.
Oh, that's
That's
cool.
how we that's how we got our dog, Chewbacca. Because we just saw Star Wars literally like an hour prior, then went to go pick up a new puppy,
And
and
named him
everyone's like, "What
Chewy.
are we gonna
That's
name
cool.
it?" I'm just like, "Chewy."
Nice. I mean,
It
I had a dog
definitely.
named. I have a dog named Finn. His full legal name was FN 2187.
That's actually the same thing with one of my other family dogs, Trooper. His full name is Stormtrooper.
Nice. Love it. All right, just real quick. Question number 3. If you're the first one to answer this question, we will also send you a code for a TMNT Mutant Mayhem digital code, so you can have the movie for free if you answer this question. Shredder used an alien gemstone to transform a Chinese food container into a giant animal. What kind of mythical beast was the animal? So anyway, first person to get that correct, you get a code. So yeah, I mean, and I got a cat named Vader.
There you go. It.
We had a dog named Hank. He was named after Hank from Beast, Hank McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I had a friend who had a cat named Tuvok, so Star Trek as well.
Nice.
There
Like
are
that.
so many things.
There's so many great names out in myth. If we're just talking about animals and just the naming of animals, there's so many great names out in pop culture that you can use for naming of animals and having fun with your animals and all these different things. So it makes for a really great, it's a great time. When my kids were little, we had gotten them a brand new puppy, and I thought for sure, because we told both the boys, because Kendall was not a part of our lives yet, so it was just the two boys, and we got a Shar-Pei puppy. And I was like, you can name them whatever you want, but they were so big into DC comics and they were watching the Justice League all the time. And I had just painted their room, like one wall was each color. Like this wall was red for the Flash, this wall was green for Green Lantern, that wall was blue for Superman, and there was a black wall for Batman, and and the inside of the closet was yellow, and for Aquaman. And I thought for sure when I said, "Hey, you guys can name him whatever you want," I would have bet money on the fact we were getting a dog named Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because they were at the right age for them to name something Batman and call it a day.
My sister tried to name me Batman.
Well, what did you end up naming the dog?
Digit, actually. Okay, so there's actually a really good explanation for this. So Parker was I don't remember what he couldn't have been more than 10, but they were talking about numbers in school, and numbers were also called digits, and we were adding a new number to our family, a new digit to our family, and so he wanted to name the dog Digit.
This makes me think of Digit from Cyberchase.
So and Jason loves this version of the show. Yeah, we're having fun with it. I think
it's great just to talk.
We're having fun talking. It's not, oh, we got to play a game, and it's not a forced feature. It's just a conversation. I wish your name was Batman.
I do too, honestly.
Yeah, there we go. His cat's name is Nymeria Patrice, if we're being technical.
Yes.
Question 3 is still available, guys. You guys can still win a digital code.
For Jason, I kind of made a show as an excuse to hang out and talk with my friends.
It works.
It definitely works.
So
that's actually the same logic behind the friendship onion. With my brain is blanking on their actual names, but Merry and Pippin from the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. But I know who you're talking about.
Boyd, Dominic Monaghan.
There we go.
I'm like, I can do this.
My brain is so fried. Yeah, my brain is so fried on the Lord of the Rings because yesterday, was it yesterday? No, 2 days ago, Saturday, I spent the entirety of the day watching the whole extended trilogy, all 13 hours of it. Because technically my birthday is tomorrow, but I'm working tomorrow, so I celebrated on Saturday. So, yay me.
So, yeah. So there's lots.
I haven't really gotten to do the key memories thing yet because I needed more.
Okay.
Water.
All right. So key memory for you.
There are a lot. Which
seems to be the case.
That's true.
That's a lot for all of us, though. I mean, that's kind of the thing, right?
Yeah. So like I said, growing up in a nerd house, in 2005, when Doctor Who came back with Christopher Eccleston, my dad saw that Doctor Who was on BBC and did the, oh guys, we have to watch this. I used to watch this when your mom and I first got married. We watched this together. You guys, we should watch this. You should you're gonna like it. I'm like, okay. Honestly, the Rose episode is not the best episode in the world to start somebody on. Because it's kind of
is that the one with like the plastic people come back?
Yes.
Yeah, that's an awful episode.
It is an awful episode. But it was so funny. Is like we got to the end of that episode and I went, yeah, no, I need to watch more of this. This is cheesy and campy and awful, and I love it.
Okay, but when I say awful, it was good. I did watch more, but I watched it the whole time going, these are some of the worst practical effects I think I've ever seen in my life.
And I think that's actually one of the things that I really appreciate about Doctor Who and about BBC productions in general, is they haven't upgraded their technology that much. Like,
oh no, they've upgraded their technology. It's just they're trying to make an entire show off of a budget of like 3 paper clips and a piece of string.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
That seems generous.
Yeah, that's a generous. That's with donations. But they got brand new like CGI sometimes, brand new cameras, all 1080p, 4K, but they're still building Daleks out of plungers.
Oh yeah, and whisks. Metal trash.
I think Bob's got a new iPhone.
Yeah, they're filming it on an iPhone.
But it's funny is like I remember watching these things with my family and with my parents, and I mean not like my siblings too, because like my brothers took me to go see Phantom Menace when it came out. And that was awesome because that was my first experience getting to see Star Wars on like movie theater screen. Otherwise, it was the TV that we had at home that I think growing up it might have been a 30-inch. Like it wasn't a giant TV. It was a 30-inch tube TV that
shooting electrons at your face.
And then like
back in the day though, a 30-inch TV was pretty big.
That was pretty big. And then like when we upgraded to a 40 or a 42. Also tube, but then our house got struck by lightning and somehow the TV survived, but only in the color orange.
Huh.
Like for the longest time we had a TV that was only in the color orange. Everything on TV was orange. It was very strange.
Okay, so okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Hold on. Please tell me though that at that point you put another TV on top of it for picture and use the one below for sound. Please say yes. Please say yes. Please say yes. Please.
It was on a table in front of it.
Yes! Ow, that hurt.
Because the stupid TV was like 90 pounds. And so my brothers moved the one up from the basement. Yes, watching football on that TV was super freaking weird. I'm not going to admit the fact
that... Orange blip goes here, orange blip goes there, orange blip goes here,
orange blip goes there. I'm not going to admit that the TV that was only in orange was when my husband and I were dating. That's just sad, but it is. But then, like, with talking about, like, Lord of the Rings, because, so when the Lord of the Rings movies came out, my friends were watching it, it wasn't something I was interested in at that point. And then my friends started watching it, and they're like, but Orlando Bloom, and but Viggo Mortensen, and, I mean, 13-year-old girl, how else are you going to get me to watch movies like that?
Well, yeah.
I mean, everybody's got their gateway. Everybody's got their gateway. But then I remember telling my dad that my friends were talking about going and seeing the Lord of the Rings movies, or that they had seen them and they had them on DVD. And I'm like, is that okay for me to watch? Like, because little kid making sure that it was something he wasn't going to object to. And he's like, yeah, I read those books. I loved those books. I actually spray painted Frodo Lives on a bridge when I was in my teens. And I'm like, yeah, what?
That was an actual like political movement.
It was, yeah, like.
I heard about that. That's still going around.
What?
Frodo Lives?
Yeah.
How is that a political movement?
Oh God, hang on. I gotta...
It's complicated, but it's there. But I will keep typing.
I'm gonna try and find a synopsis while Kathleen...
Yes, I will keep talking while Ben types. But finding out these little things about, oh yeah, no, my parents did XYZ, and then, learning about these different aspects of pop culture from my parents. Like my dad introduced me to Douglas Adams and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Long Dark Tea Time of the Soul, and Tim's not old enough to know something. But like it was so cool
We're almost the same age there, Was. Shush.
To learn all of these things. But even in talking about, I mean, I know that typically we're nerds. We talk nerd stuff. But honestly, is there really anything more nerdy than musical theater? No, not really. Like, if you think about it,
musical theater more awful than musical theater, if that's what you're.
Musical theater nerds, like musical theater performers, are also massive nerds. And so I grew up.
Yeah, I'll give you that for sure.
I grew up with that aspect of pop culture as well, that we went and saw musicals. Like my parents took all of us to go see Phantom of the Opera in Toronto in 1998. Like, okay. I was 5. Taking a 5-year-old to go see Phantom of the Opera was probably a mistake on some level, but also, like, I feel like it definitely changed my brain and like imprinted on my brain so much.
That's called a scar and trauma.
Probably.
Like,
I mean, because as a 5-year-old, it was terrifying. A man comes through the mirror and kidnaps you, and that's freaking creepy. And then he strangles people, and this is not something you take a 5-year-old to see. But when the movie came out in 2004, and I saw the other side of the story, and I'm like, oh, hey, this is a kind of a cool story. You see that, yes, he's crazy. Yes, he's traumatized. But he's also this beautiful genius that is as traumatized as he is because he was ostracized and abused and I don't know.
The funny thing is though, so as much as I hate musicals, really enjoyed Phantom of the Opera.
Because it's fantastic.
I actually even got into the story. So typically when I go, if my wife has taken me to something, so here, these are, this is a core memory when it comes to anything musical related. It's typically my wife telling me to shut up and stop asking her what's going on, because I am typically completely lost. Like she took me to Les Mis, lost for 3 hours of people singing to me in French. I didn't understand what the hell was going on.
That's understandable though.
Yeah, plus it sucked. And then
false.
But I went to Phantom, and I went because it's one of those things where I almost think that Phantom is one of those things that even if you don't like musicals, you have to go see it for the experience. It's one of those things you have to experience. Now I went to one that it was a stripped down version. It wasn't the full original chandelier. It wasn't the full, everything else. But it was a kind of a one stage, rotating stage, one stage stripped down version. And it was really, really very cool. And I very much enjoyed it. I got into the music out of anything. Like when, you see one of those posts out on social media where they're like, what's a song that nobody thinks that you'll or be surprised that, that you would like? The main theme from Phantom of the Opera is that song for me.
Right.
Everybody knows how much I hate musicals. I freaking love that song. It is amazing. The guitar work in that song and how it comes down and just.
It is a beautifully written song. And so I think on that you don't like musicals thing, I think that like John had said that the new Sweeney Todd soundtrack is amazing. You should listen to like just the opening Ballad of Sweeney Todd just for the music, for the musical aspect of it. It is one of the ugliest pieces, but it works because it's not a pretty story. You don't want pretty music. It's not a pretty story. But the harmonies and the clashing of the harmonies in that is so much fun. And with you liking the D minor scale in Phantom of the Opera, I think that you would enjoy the Sweeney Todd very, very much. Sorry, this is where Kathleen goes into music nerd because she practically grew up in a theater.
You're doing fine.
Well, music counts as
I got
pop
a question for
culture
you. Oh, absolutely it does. Just real quick, as a reminder, guys, the first person to answer the question that's on screen wins a free copy of a digital code for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, the new animated show that has just come out. So yeah, make sure you answer that. And okay, so here's a question for you about the Sweeney Todd soundtrack. I know the only thing I know about Sweeney Todd is that he killed people.
Yes.
Do I need to know any more than that to enjoy the music? Do I need to know more of the story is what I'm getting at. Do I need to know the basis of the story?
So, yes and no. I mean,
does my question make sense?
Yes.
Well, the music also explains a lot of it.
It does. It does. The music doesn't. It does explain a lot of it. So he was sent away because the judge was in love with his wife. He comes back. He wants to get vengeance on the judge because of all of the ways that he was wronged. Easiest way to be able to kill the judge is, hey, you've already got a straight razor in your hand. Oh, just a little slip and he's gone. But because it's Sondheim, and Sondheim is insane and does very strange things with it, in an attempt of hiding his practice bodies, they recycle the meat, and Mrs. Lovett owns a pie shop. However, there's a beautiful song about Try the Priest.
Yep. Which gets into a whole lot more of, oh god.
So the majority of what I know about Sweeney Todd comes from Andy in The Office.
Okay.
That's about what I know.
That's
an okay marker to know it from, because
I mean, so if you don't want to just listen to the music, there is the movie version with Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter. It's Tim Burton, and I think that Tim Burton meeting Sondheim is an interesting combination.
They work very well in that
regard. They do. Johnny Depp does not exactly have the best voice for Sweeney, but it worked. And this is something that is very, very difficult for me to say, because I hate Josh Groban. I have always hated Josh Groban. Josh Groban as Sweeney Todd is beautiful. Like, I struggled when they first started releasing snippets of the album, and it's I don't like Josh Groban. I don't like listening to Josh Groban sing. Why am I enjoying this so much? And he has the absolute perfect voice for Sweeney Todd, and it's scary good. Also, Tim, one of the other actors in it is Gaten Mazzarato from Stranger Things.
I can't think of who that is.
Dustin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
One little circle. So Gaten plays Anthony, who's the same character that Jamie played in the movie, but then Jamie is Vecna.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah. So they were on both sets. Okay, cool.
But it's weird because Jamie played Anthony in the movie with Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter, and now Gaten's playing the same character on Broadway.
So this is actually kind of a great lead into our last question about this topic tonight. The effect that pop culture has on other aspects of culture. So we're talking about a musical, and even though it's musicals influenced by with the actors that are in it, and how this these actors work together here and how they work together there, and although one doesn't necessarily influence the other, but we saw Sweeney Todd on The Office. There's that. There's all kinds of different references like that where something about this movie or this thing is referenced inside of the other thing. And so one of the best examples for that, in my opinion, and maybe you guys have a different idea than this, and I guarantee you do, because I was thinking of the movie Fanboys. I love movies like Fanboys that are paying homage to something. That's why Sharknado to me is so great, because it's the ridiculous amount of campy fun that has homage after homage after homage to all these different pop culture things. And Ready Player One is fantastic for that. Book is better than the movie, but the movie's still excellent. So
there are so many of those things where they just stack on top of each other, because when you think about it in that way, you could also get into parodies. Things like Spaceballs.
I love Spaceballs.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, I love Spaceballs so much. Just every line
They've gone
is
to Plaid.
Just oh my god, that your Schwartz is as big as mine. The dumbest lines Every line in those movies is a quote you can use for something ridiculous.
And if you think too
love the.
about
Oh, go
pop
ahead,
culture
please.
influencing other pop culture, like the entire Walt Disney Corporation is built off of fairy tales that were written by the Brothers Grimm. Like,
Yep.
they took Grimm fairy tales and made them child friendly and built a
It's very difficult to do.
multi-billion-dollar industry off of it.
You're not wrong.
Like,
Very much not wrong.
It's
Snow White is not as nice as the Disney movie.
oh gosh, no.
It's terrifying.
It's a little
Cinderella.
brutal.
Cinderella
Yeah.
and her stepsisters cutting
Yeah.
their toes off to try to get the glass slipper to fit, and the description of the slipper filling with blood, and it's like, and then the fact that their eyes get pecked out by birds, like.
I don't remember seeing any of that in the Disney version.
No, but it's in Into the Woods, which is also Sondheim.
There you go.
But even then, I put in one of the things as like an example is the Akira motorcycle like skidding to a stop. Every movie or TV show or anything that involves a motorcycle has the Akira motorcycle scene. I'm pretty sure it was in the Fast and Furious. It was in Teen Titans. It was in literally everything that involves a motorcycle has that like sideways skid to a halt and then just staring back at the camera. And that happened once. That was the first time it was popped up.
I don't think John says I don't think my daughter should be listening anymore. Something about eyes that their eyes
give her
were
any
very
ideas.
I
very
have
eyes.
the Grimm fairy tales. I could start reading them to her, John.
That's between y'all.
I wouldn't say it's a bedtime story, but it's definitely a story.
It's
also,
definitely a story.
He's the dad who brought home Terry Pratchett to read to her the other day. I mean, honestly,
there could be worse.
Fair. But yeah,
could be worse.
I love how, as the joke goes, it's turtles all the way down, as pop culture influences every single thing around it. And I it's so good. In fact, one of my favorite bands is NSP, Ninja Sex Party. And
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, that's the name of the band.
Hello!
Their entire thing is just making really funny, like, parody songs about games they've played, about the characters that they've developed that are the people in the band. Like, one of them is Ninja Brian, which is a ninja that just murks everyone in every music video, and the other one is Danny Sexbang. Like, it's the dumbest thing, and it's just all of that plays homage to, like, video games and random comic books. One of my other favorite bands is Twerp, which is TWRP. They used to be called Tupperware Remix Party. I have a lot of weird bands, but honestly, Twerp is my all-time favorite band because of how their music works. Imagine Daft Punk mixed with ska, mixed with, like, I'm Walking on Sunshine. That vibe is all of their music. It's just
my brain now hurts.
Oh, yeah. Best songs, if you want to listen to them, is Bright Blue Sky and Atomic Karate.
I'm not saying that I'm not going to go check them out. I'm just saying that the idea of it makes my brain hurt a little bit.
But they were inspired by other pop culture, like Daft Punk. Things like that, and now they're out and about. They're just a group of Canadians with the most insane lore for their characters. Because the people in the band play characters in the band. Like, Lord Phobos is a ruler of a galaxy and the most terrifying warlord. You have Dr. Sung, who is a time traveler who goes to the future, but also back in time and is from Canada, but in the future past. It gets so much more confusing.
That hurts my brain.
Yes. But their music is great.
Yes, it does.
You should see their lead bassist, Commander Meowch. He's a cat.
However, speaking of brain hurting, Did anybody else watch the trailer for the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who?
No, I did not.
I
Oh,
saw it,
my
shared
gosh!
it to
Oh, wait a
Mimi,
minute.
and
Wait
then
a
I
minute.
was
Is that
waiting
the
for her to come home.
is that the new one with
Neil Patrick Harris?
Yeah, with NPH is in it with David Tennant and
Uh-huh.
what's her name? Okay, yes, I did watch that one.
Catherine Tate.
Sorry.
I
Yes,
have
thank you.
not, because I saw the trailer. I didn't hit play. I shared it to Mimi, and we're gonna watch it when she gets home from work. So
It's very cool. And I'm not a huge Doctor Who fan. I thought it was very cool.
Have you heard anything about what they've confirmed about Neil Patrick Harris's character?
Just that he's an old. I
want to know.
Doctor Who is Mimi's thing. I mainly want to share it with her for excitement, but if you tell me things, I'm not going to spoil anything for her.
So they have confirmed that Neil Patrick Harris's character is the Celestial Toymaker, who they have not had in the show since the 60s.
Yeah, it's like a 60-year-old character. That's all I remember seeing.
Like, he's like next on the list after the Master of seriously messed up characters. Mm-hmm. That his thing is locking you in your own mind and trapping you in nightmares. Like, and now Neil Patrick Harris is this celestial toymaker with a campy German accent. And
if it's got NPH, chances are I'm probably going to watch it.
Oh, so
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I think that there's going to be an FSF PopCast special Doctor Who 60th anniversary show. We should get Pruitt on that one.
Absolutely. Get who? Oh, Pruitt? Oh, yeah. Spooner, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they would jump in for sure. They both have had much to do with Doctor Who, especially on the audio side of things. But, yeah. With, Pruitt writing Doctor Who and Spooner voice acting in Doctor Who. I mean,
right.
So that'd be really cool. That'd be a lot of fun. All right. Well, yeah, I actually very much enjoyed tonight. This has been a lot of fun.
This has been.
This has been great, just to kind of.
And the longer I drink the weird grass water, the less disgusting it gets.
Okay, now I just want to make it happen. If you can get Fred on, I will do anything I can in my own power to get Spooner on a live show with us, so that we can have him in real time tell Fred what he thinks, which would be absolutely positively worth it. And still one of my
James Spooner and my brother.
Still one of my absolute favoriteest things to ever have happened on our air.
I might just listen to that part of the episode on a semi-regular basis because it makes me laugh.
I mean, I have it on as a TikTok. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. That portion cut down just so it can be a TikTok, just so I can enjoy it, because
it should just be shared like twice a month.
I mean, you're not wrong. So, but yeah, guys, if you guys have enjoyed Tea Time, let us know what your thoughts are. If there's topics that you want us to dive into, now we've got a few planned out for the next couple times we plan on doing this, but this is I'm hoping will become an evolving organic thing where we're involving. Our hope is to have, we're going to have guests in to have, to talk about these things with us. But we thought for tonight, for the kickoff episode of this, that we would do it just us, just the FSF PopCast. And I want to give credit, like I said, give credit where credit is due. This is Ben's idea, and I'm so glad that Ben brought this to the table, because it's been a fun conversation. And I think that this is something that especially when it comes to the live shows, this has made it way more enjoyable than just, okay, I've got to think of this thing with that and the other thing.
Not doing another Mad Lib.
Yeah. Oh God, never another Mad Lib. Never, ever another Mad Lib. That went so horribly awry. And I do mean horribly awry. Horribly awry. So, but yeah.
Borderline cancel. Pretend we don't exist, move to a different country.
It was strongly considered. I'm not even going to pretend. So sadly, we did not get a chance to give away all of our TMNT codes tonight. So we had a couple available, and we'll make sure that we get those onto our podcast page. That we'll probably make it a Twitter giveaway. So you'll need to follow us on Twitter, or if you're desperate enough to call it X, go ahead. But yeah, it's Twitter. I don't care what you say. Anyway, but follow us on the Dead Bird app, and you can
Dead Bird app.
on the Dead Bird app. That's right.
Chicken nugget.
And we'll be giving away codes to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show on there. And oh, Mike, yes, absolutely, it is the dragon.
The last second.
Congratulations, Mike.
Congratulations, Mike. Absolutely, that's fantastic. All right, so Mike, here is what I want you to do. I got to go up and find it because I'm really bad at this. Send us an email to info@fsfpopcast.com, and I will email you a digital code for your enjoyment of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I'll make sure that happens yet tonight. If you'll send me that email, please, and I'll get that off to you. I got one just a moment ago. I just checked from IE, whose name, again, I'm sure I am slaughtering to the nth degree. But again, thank you so much for participating. And Mike, send me that email and we'll get you taken care of, bud. Thanks for playing along. All right, very cool. Well, that gets us to the end of our show, and we got a little bit of business to take care of.
Let's do this. So last Friday, we aired our interview with the iconic voice actor, Pat Fraley. Pat is the voice of Krang, which was also the answer to the first question that nobody answered. Anyway, and
that one right there.
And Casey
that
Jones
question.
From Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, along with roles in G.I. Joe, Toy Story, Super Friends, The Incredible Hulk, Scooby-Doo, and I would run out of words if I tried to continue reading his IMDb.
Yeah, so the cool thing is that Pat's a teacher as well, and I know we have a little bit of scripting here, but Pat's a teacher, and so not only was he talking to us about what he's enjoyed in life and why he does what he does and everything else. You're very welcome, Mike. Thank you. But he also talked about why he teaches and how he teaches. And even though Kathleen and I are not voice actors, he was teaching us during the episode. It's a really very cool interview, and I hope more people get a chance to watch it and enjoy that episode.
And you can still find that episode of FSF PopCast on our YouTube channel and your favorite audio podcast providers. And remember, your subscription to our YouTube channel is a major help, so please don't forget to click the like and subscribe as you watch the videos. Leave a comment on favorite parts or any kind of cool things you like about our episodes.
Yeah,
I'm glad
absolutely.
I don't have to say that part anymore. I got to the point where I could recite that in my sleep.
I'm not at that part yet.
Yeah,
Give it a couple weeks.
And speaking of our next upcoming interview, right here, John says that he'll have this week's episode edited and done sometime tomorrow, unless he gets distracted by video games, which is possible. Yeah, I understand.
He found a dual pack of Assassin's Creed for the Switch for like $20, and it's
that would be very distracting.
Well, what Assassin's Creed?
The pirate one.
Okay, then he's gone. You go find a new husband.
Black Flag, and I think the other one is Rogue.
Again, he's gone.
Yeah, no, he's
going to be sailing the seas.
And done.
I mean, like, honestly, so I was gone when he got home from work today. I was at a doctor's appointment. And when I came home, he was in the same spot that he had been since he got home while playing Black Flag.
Yeah,
that
sounds about
typically
right.
A thing.
John, you got to go find all the shanties, because, in the beginning, the shanties are but once you start collecting them, you get into the really, really good shanties.
He had it for the PS3. He had Black Flag for the PS3, and it was the one video game that, like, I would not sit in the room with him while he was playing it, because he loves doing the whaling parts of it, and I'm like, can you stop, please?
No.
I never did the whaling. I would literally just jump on my ship, sail off into the open, maybe do a dive every now and then. Yeah, I know they won't hold still. It's a movement-based game. You gotta clamber around things.
All right, so you can see this picture up on the screen with Gary Whitta. That is this week's guest, and if John gets that done tomorrow, we'll get that up on our Patreon channel for you guys to be able to listen to early or watch early if you so choose, for as little as $3 a month. Now, who is Gary Whitta, and why do you want to listen to this episode? First off, Gary is amazing. I'm just going to throw that out there. Super cool, super duper cool guy. And Gary wrote Rogue One, the Star Wars story. And we talk about that and some of our favorite moments in Rogue One. And unfortunately, one of the moments that's my favorite in Rogue One, he didn't write, but he absolutely loves it still. And so that wasn't the part of the movie that he wrote. But yeah, so Gary was one of the featured writers of Rogue One, a Star Wars story. He also wrote The Book of Eli.
One of my favorite movies.
Yeah, absolutely. And his newest novel is called Gundog. And that has just come out. Now, according to his good friend Felicia Day, if you like sci-fi and mechs, you have no reason to not go buy this book. And we'll have a link for that book down in the show notes down below here in just a couple of moments. But Gundog is out available now in all your favorite book distributors, and you'll have an opportunity to go check that out. And
there is also the audio version of it if you are like Tim and you can't read a book, but you can have a book read to you.
And actually, so here's the cool part about that audio version of the book. If you want to go check out the Gundog audio version, go to Audible, and it's acted by Shannon Woodward. And goodness, who was the other person? I can't remember who he said the other person was. But there's a couple people there. One person doing the narration, and Shannon does a lot of the mechs and the voice acting and all that stuff. And I feel bad that I can't remember it now, but I didn't write it down. So and I've slept since then. So yeah, it's like every night, I go to sleep, just wipes clean. But yeah, go
deletes.
Troy Baker. That's right. So Shannon Woodward and Troy Baker are the ones that did the voice acting for it, and it's available on Audible. And I will be checking that out here very shortly because it sounds like an amazing book. And if you like mechs, Gundam, that type of stuff, this book should be right up your alley. So
I have to say, every time Gundam gets said, my brain says Gungam, and whoop Gundam style starts playing, and it gets really bad.
There's that pop culture again.
Yep. There it is, the crossover, but not quite the crossover that you were looking for.
HD.
Now, I'm assuming we have a whole bunch of the extra bits we couldn't fit. This is a long interview for like the best possible reasons. Do we have all those extra bits as like?
There will be lots of bonus footage on this episode. And so, at the end of the week, when the episode goes public, we'll be dropping bonus clips into Patreon of all these extra conversations and things that we had about how he's been playing Baldur's Gate with Felicia Day and some other friends on Twitch, and the absolute ridiculousness that they're having on those streams. And the ridiculousness of his computer setup with a 48-inch or 49-inch curved monitor with another monitor above. And I don't know if you saw this the other day, Ben, but he posted this on Threads. He now has put a 45-inch TV off to the left-hand side of it. So he's got a curved monitor, 48-inch curved monitor here. He's got a 30-something monitor above it and a 40-something TV next to it.
It's just the Bat computer.
It is. He is slowly but surely building the Bat Cave in his office, and Gary is just the coolest dude. So we had fun with him, and that comes out hopefully the next day or two on hopefully by Wednesday we'll have that up at the latest on Patreon, but definitely comes out on Friday on YouTube and all the podcast locations. But we of course recommend that you check us out on Good Pods, because Good Pods loves us and we love them.
Yes, we do.
But if you're trying to get all that bonus stuff, only on Patreon.
Only on Patreon.
More reason to get our Patreon.
Absolutely. There's so much cool stuff. Almost every interview has extra bonus footage. So if you're looking for cool bonus footage, Patreon's a place to go. And so anyway, on that note, let us say goodbye to these fair people who have supported us this evening and all the comments. Thank you guys for all of that. We certainly had a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do this version of our live show again. Until next time.
It's going to be fun. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye. On behalf of the rest of the hosts of the FSF PopCast, we want to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on a future episode, please contact us by means of Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FSF PopCast. Or go to www.fsfpopcast.com and click on the contact link. Thanks again, and hope you enjoyed the episode.